What's going on, guys? It's your man Ed Hayes here, back for another video. And in this one, I want to talk to you all about some wholesaling marketing strategies that work for all budgets. Whether you're on a low budget, a mid tier, or a high tier, there's levels to this stuff, right? Some people are balling on a budget, other people have a massive budget and they're ready to go to the top right away. So, in this video, I'm going to be breaking down the different tiers of wholesaling marketing strategies so you can decide which strategies are going to make the best sense for you. So let's not waste any time. Let's get right on into it.
Hey, coming down like precipitation. I ain't never met a.
All right, guys. So, in terms of the low budget options to get out here and start building up your wholesaling business, the first strategy that I have for you is going to be driving for dollars. Y'all already know what that is, getting out, looking for vacant and distressed properties and things of that nature. However, a strategy that I like to use, and you may have heard me talk about before on the channel, is hiring house hunters, aka bird dogs. I just don't call them dogs because that sounds so disrespectful. I'm not sure why we're calling humans animals. So I call them house hunters. And basically, I'll put a ad out on the labor gigs section on Craigslist. It costs $7, and you can hire people to go out there and find you vacant and distressed properties on a commission basis. Okay, so you'll give them like $500 to $1,000 after you actually close on the property. So this money is not coming out your pocket. It's a very, very good strategy, literally free to get out there and start building up your business. Now, the next strategy is going to be something that takes some cojones, to be honest with you, and that's going to be door knocking, walking up to people's doors and actually asking them, hey, are you interested in selling your property? This can also kind of go along with kind of like a house hunter or driving for dollars type strategy. Maybe while you're out driving for dollars, maybe knock on the neighbors' doors. That's another thing, knocking on the neighbors' doors of these vacant properties. They lived next to these people for years, very, very often. They'll know John and be able to give you that person's information. So that's a free strategy, and it definitely can get the job done if you've got the cojones to pull it off. All right, so the next strategy is going to be working with agents. You all hear Jerry Norton talk about this all the time. He calls it the double dip strategy. That's when you reach out to an agent that already has a property listed on the market and basically offer them to make commission on your side of the deal as well, which makes them, they'll get twice as much money from working on the same transaction. So you'll basically enlist them to help you actually get this deal sold. That gives them an extra incentive or motivation to want to work with you versus the competition, even if the property sells for a cheaper price. However, do keep in mind when you work with agents, you're basically always going to have to put down some earnest money on these properties. And it may be, $500, $1,000, $2,500 on the higher end, maybe. Like you may have to put some, not man, you will have to put some earnest money down when you are working with agents. So it's still on the lower end of the scale, but it's a great way to get out there and actually start getting some traction. Now, lastly, for the lower tier options, I'm going to recommend doing JV deals, doing joint venture deals, as they're called, with other wholesalers that already have properties under contract. So either you're the person that's really good at acquisitions and you can get a whole bunch of sellers to say yes and things like that. And then maybe you dish it off to a dispo person that just focuses on working with buyers. And maybe on the other end, maybe, you're really, really good with talking to the money, talking to the buyers and actually selling off these deals. So if that's the case, if you got a ton of buyers, try to reach out to other wholesalers that already have properties under contract and be able to slam dunk those deals with your buyers, and everyone eats. Now let's get into the mid-tier strategies. These are going to be the things that you hear a lot of people on YouTube talking about. Now, the first mid-tier strategy is going to be texting people. I personally like to use REI Reply. And also, guys, I do have an REI Reply automation program that you can sign up for down below. We'll actually set up your systems for you and put in all of our workflows, campaigns, customizations inside of your account so you can hit the ground running. But texting is a great way to get out here, start up that conversation. I call these things mid-tier. Typically, you're going to be spending less than $1,000 a month to have a complete funnel for these strategies. So texting can be extremely cheap with REI replies like 0.0075 cents per text that you're sending out. Now, the next strategy is going to be cold calling. Now, I personally like to use Mojo Dialer for my cold calling, but there's a ton of different systems out there like Batch Dialer, Zen Call. There's so many of them. You just have to find one that works right for you. Now, with texting and cold calling, I'm going to recommend that you be either texting or calling a minimum of around 400 to 500 people per day, at least Monday through Friday. That's going to put you in position to be contacted about 8,000 to 10,000 leads every single month. Now, the last strategy for the mid-tier stuff, like I said, this is the stuff that you're going to hear most YouTubers talking about and trying to give you information and strategies on. The last one is going to be direct mail. I personally recommend REI print mail if you're going to go with direct mail, but it can be a great way to get out here and actually start generating some results, especially in smaller local markets. However, when it comes to direct mail, you're going to want to make sure that you're super consistent, that you're sending out mailers for at least 3 months if you're going to go with direct mail. It's a more long-term strategy, but the results can be amazing if you really, really put in those repetitions. Now let's jump into the higher end strategy. Maybe you've got like a really, really nice budget. You can get out here. You're not worried about how much it's going to cost. You're worried about how can I get the best results and really start to run up the bag. Well, the number one strategy in terms of mid-tier strategies that I'm seeing people use right now is going to be Google ads. Google ads work amazingly to actually get your ideal customer coming into the pipeline naturally, and it puts you in the position of leverage. Basically, this person is saying, they're raising their hand saying, hey, I need help. I need help. And you're able to respond with that Google ad and be like, hey, look, I'm right here. I got you. And now you're in the leverage position because now they're trying to sell their property to you versus you trying to buy their property from them. Whenever anyone has a problem, they go to Google to try to get an answer for it. So if you have Google ads that are rocking and rolling, you can easily get a good amount of people coming in on a daily basis. Google ads are actually how I got my very, very first deal in the real estate space. I was running $8 a day in Chicago at that. Super competitive market, but it was before it started to get more and more saturated. Now, with these types of higher tier strategies, you're going to want to budget out about $4,000 to $10,000 for each one of these different strategies. And just like with direct mail, you've got to be very, very consistent with these strategies as well. You want to ultimately become omnipresent in the market that you're working in. Now, the next higher tier strategy is going to be billboards. You can be the billboard that's on the expressway every day when John and Mary and Bob are going to work every day. They're going to see your big billboard, that advertisement every single day. Billboards are also a great way to capture that local attention. Like everyone in your market will have seen your local billboard or billboards. Once again, these strategies can be pretty expensive. Imagine spending about $4,000 to $10,000 for each one of these strategies. Now, the next one is going to be radio ads. If you have a catchy jingle in a local market, radio ads can be one of the number one ways to be subliminally advertising to your customers. And then they're going to go into work and start singing your jingle and stuff like that. Their kids are singing your jingle on the way to school and they're singing it and da 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 da. If you've got some really catchy ads, some really catchy jingles and a memorable phone number and things of that nature, trust me, radio ads can be amazing in terms of generating significant revenue for your wholesaling business. And then lastly is going to be television. Television is one of the number one ways that our ideal seller can actually go about finding us. Like I have a perfect example out here in Las Vegas. I've got like model looking Ryan Pineda on the 9 o'clock news every day, like with this beautiful smile and yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? Home run offer and that shout out to Ryan Pineda, man. But what I'm saying is that, that's a great way to really, really capture your audience's attention and become the obvious choice. Older people are still going to be watching the news on a daily basis. It's a part of their normal routine for decades now. Right. So when you're on the news, you become credible. You become like a thought leader in the space, or at least a credible source for a solution that you may need. Right. So television, radio, billboards, and Google ads are the higher tier strategies. And when you actually put these strategies like in combination with each other, that's when you become omnipresent in the market that you're working in, where it's like, okay, the only company that you'll literally be competing with is like home investors, or AKA we buy ugly houses. That's basically the only people that you'll be competing with in any given market if you're actually becoming omnipresent. That's where the really, really, really big boys play, especially in that Google ad space. Like they're spending tens of thousands of dollars on Google ads. But I honestly believe that if you couple the Google ads with everything else that I just told you, billboards, radio, and television, honestly, like who could really compete with you? Who would really, really be able to compete with you? I don't even think that the hedge funds are willing to actually go omnipresent. They want to kind of be more so in the background, but they'll put a bunch of money into Google ads to try to capture that attention. But if you not only have those Google ads, so you're competing with them right there, but then you also have those additional presence factors, you're gonna beat out the competition. So, guys, I hope that this video has been helpful. Though, we talked about low, mid, and high tier strategies. What's your favorite strategy on this list? And what strategies are y'all using right now to run your wholesaling business? I'm really, really curious. Drop me a comment down below and let's have a conversation. Also, guys, if y'all want to have a conversation with me, if you want to be able to pick my brain, ask me any questions that you have about your wholesaling business, you need some guidance, some structure, some strategy, definitely use the link down below to schedule a strategy session with me if y'all want to continue the conversation after this video. And if you like videos like this where I'm really breaking down how to get out here and operate your wholesaling business, make sure that you check out this video right here. It's going to go into a lot more details into some specific strategies that you can implement. And until next time, guys.